Bound is the latest indie platformer available for PS4 from today, and I spent the early hours of this morning playing through this in a single sitting. The long and short is it's basically pretty good. The game has a frame narrative, if you like, in which a pregnant woman revisits traumatic memories of her childhood and tries to make sense of them. This transports the player to this gorgeous, fantastical world where you play a princess who strives to protect her mother through the power of interpretive dance, of all things. It's worth saying right out of the gate, this is a card-carrying PS4 indie in pretty much every way you expect. It's incredibly minimalist plot-wise, invites interpretation on the part of the player, and has a very, very short runtime, if you want it to be that way. That said, these are hardly criticisms, but at least ensure that there aren't going to be many players surprised by what they buy, if they do. So, as you can gather from this gameplay footage, Bound is an absolutely beautiful looking game, with most of the effort clearly poured into the world building above all else. The environments do feel alive as they pulse and mutate around you, and as beautifully serene as it can be, it also manages to be quite sinister at times, which really surprised me when the monster shows up to screech at you. What really stood out above all else here though is the jaw-droppingly impressive dancing animations. Now, I don't know if they were performance captured or keyframed, but they are just gorgeous and really inspired me to keep dancing even when I didn't need to in order to progress. It looks fantastic. All in all, this really is a game where you just want to stop and smell the roses. And that alone can easily pad out the experience and give it a little more length than if you just blast through it. There's also some terrific musical work from Henali that helps create a mostly tranquil and occasionally intense mood. In terms of gameplay, you act out various chapters from a scrapbook which see you proceeding along this path towards a confrontation with the monster. You can dance in order to avoid obstacles and so on, but the bulk of traversal comes from pretty standard platforming fare. You just leap between obstacles that have a small gap in between. Maybe you fall through them, maybe you don't. Bound doesn't have any conventional death or game over conditions, so the only way you're going to fail is by repeatedly falling to your doom. However, the game has a really fantastic checkpoint system that will always start you off no more than a few paces away from your point of mishap. As someone who loathes needless repetition in games, I thought this was fantastic. But what I really dug about this game is that it's not as linear as you might expect from the label. There are alternate pathways to navigate levels, and even some hidden areas for the trophy hunters out there. As such, combined with the sheer smell the roses aspect that I mentioned earlier, Bound can really be as long or short as you like. A sprint will last you around 90 minutes, while you can easily milk 3 or 4 hours out of it if you wanted to just savour every last crisp little detail that the game has to offer. For added value, there's also a speedrun mode unlocked after completion, and while it seems initially kind of jarring to have that in a game like this, in something that's so relaxing so often, it is sure to keep the competitive players up into the early hours of the night, trying to hone their times. It's a refreshing addition for a game like this, to be honest, for one that you wouldn't expect to be concerned with speed, even if there are going to be those who just find it too strange and don't like it. But the simple solution there then is simply don't play the speedrun mode if it's not your bag, because it has zero impact on the core game and you're not made to play it. Though there is clearly a lot of hidden meaning to dig out of Bound's more surreal illusions, it's fair to say that the frame narrative really isn't as interesting as it clearly thinks it is. This is unaided by some really, really ropey visuals in the game's brief real-world moments. I won't say really any more than that, but they clash harshly with the superb vistas and visuals of the fantastical world that you play in. Honestly, I would have just been fine without the allegorical stuff, if the game had just been rooted in a gorgeous world from the first minute to last and that was it. Instead, the attempt to craft an emotionally gripping story which players can dip in and out of at will just didn't prove all that convincing, at least to me. I don't know, perhaps others who will put in the legwork to carve every last story detail out of the world, maybe for them it will prove more rewarding. It's also fair to say that Bound is relatively repetitive as a concept. The various chapters basically all start and end the same. The sections where you cower from the screaming monster in particular, they get tiresome really quickly, and I just wanted to get through them as fast as possible. You can also knock a few points off for a camera and control scheme that honestly could be a lot better. The camera frequently struggled to keep up with my player movements, and when the game decides to cut between fixed camera angles, it proves really disorientating, because you're suddenly made to change direction. And to be honest, it reminded me a lot of Resident Evil, the earlier Resident Evil games, and it really made the game feel quite dated for just a few moments here and there where you're made to have a singular perspective. I wasn't a fan. The controls, meanwhile, can prove relatively fiddly during some of the platforming sections, and while it's hard to call the game challenging in any way, this did result in occasional moments of frustration where I felt kind of cheated because the controls weren't robust enough. I felt like it wasn't really my fault that I fell down there. Still, at least the checkpoint system is really good, so you can't get too mad about it. While it's not a classic of the genre, Bound is an entertaining, stylistically amazing platformer that's exceedingly relaxing for the most part, minor foibles aside. This just made me feel really calm and loose and relaxed in the best way. And for me at least, I'm always after more games like that, so yeah, I definitely dug this. So let's take a look at the final verdict. You should buy this game if you enjoy exploration and visiting every last nook and cranny of a sprawling environment. There's tons of that here, and problems forgiven, you're going to have a ton of fun with that if that's what you like. Wait for a sale if you think £15.99 for a potentially 2 or 3 hour game is a little on the steep side. Then again, I begrudgingly paid that for Inside a few weeks ago, which is about the same length, and honestly, I did not regret that decision in the slightest. And finally, avoid this game if you're not a fan of the arty-farty, vague indie game where you can't die. You'll probably find this exasperating and a waste of your time and money, to be honest, so why put yourself through it, right? So that's my review. Thanks for watching. I'm looking to get more conversational reviews like this up in the coming weeks and months, so if you like what you see in here, please do like and subscribe. Thank you once again, you guys are awesome, and I'll be here from dusk till dawn.